Bruno, can you tell me a little bit about your life before you came to Harvard?
I grew up in a suburb of Mexico City. My dad, he was a contractor. Growing up and going with him to this work in progress, and also experiencing the lack of infrastructure in Mexico City, continued to open my eyes around the built environment that I lived in. And I couldn't imagine myself doing anything other than designing and building stuff. When did you first learn about the creation of the highway system?
I actually have a picture of my dad as a kid, and he's playing on the rubble of buildings that were knocked down to make way for what would become the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. Learning about the highway system, it's really one of the first things that you learn when you start studying urban planning, but you also learn about how they were used to separate and uproot poor people and communities of color. Only later did I realize that there could be other ways to organize societies and build cities.
What was the Highways Revisited class?
I had this idea to do a class about highways and how we might rethink them. Students had to pick an interstate, meet with some community leaders to better understand their local priorities, present a clear case for the damage that the highway provided, and then develop a compelling vision. Why did you pick El Paso?
I wanted to create some work related to Mexico. I don't know, in a way, it's a payback to my country, but also because migration in Latin American cities is one of the social problems or issues that are growing. The I-10 is this highway that goes east-west in the U.S. It's segregated downtown El Paso. It was like brown communities and black communities. And in this point is the closest that it can get to the border. The city and the authorities started to put more and more infrastructure that they didn't want right next to the border. So when they created the I-10, they not only divided the city, but also it helped to create like a negative point of view to the border. My proposal was to reroute the I-10, but also creating like a new neighborhood with a park on both sides of the border. I was envisioning inviting artists from both sides to create pieces of art that would talk to each other and would work to connect communities.
Your project is very beautiful and thoughtful. What's the likelihood that someone sometime will do something like what you proposed?
I think they're going in an opposite way. At the moment, the I-10 is being expanded. I'm not saying it won't happen. It's just a matter of people understanding that there are other ways of transport, other ways of living. I think that it's going to take more time.
I always try to get students to bring creative, outside the box thinking to a real world problem. And that's what y'all did. And I was really inspired.
So what do you hope for the future of these communities? And what do you hope for my future and the future of the other students?
I want to see communities that reflect the priorities of people that are living in those communities. And what I want for y'all, I hope that you find meaning in what you do and joy in it, and hope you are able to use your skills to design things to leave the world better than you found it.